gentlemen. Thank you.
سلامات. رجعت من أسبوع بالبرتغال ببطولة استوريل. كان أول أسبوع إلي كيف حكيت كمقدم محتوى أو كصحفي ببطولة التنس. حاولت خلال الأسبوع أقدم لكم يعني أفضل شيء قدرت عليه. بتمنى تكون المحتوى اللي قدمته نيل إعجابكم، إن كان جولة بالمجمع، جولة بالملاعب، وكيف كنت عم بنقل الحدث. وكيف وعدتكم راح يكون في مقابلات مع أشخاص اللي التقيت فيهم هونيكي. راح يكون معنا أول مقابلة عملتها مع الصحفي البرتغالي جوسيه مورغادو، أحد أهم الصحفيين بعالم التنس. يعني اللي بتابع تنس عم منيح اكتب جوسيه مورغادو بتويتر، قل أني راح أحط راح أعمل له تاج على الحلقة، وراح أحط صفحته على تويتر وعلى الانستغرام. شوفوا جوسيه مورغادو شو المحتوى اللي بيقدمه. هو مرجع لكثير ناس، مش بس إلي أو لأي حدا، كمان بالعالم العربي، لكثير ناس بالعالم. تحدثت أنا وياه هيك 5 دقائق. سألته عن البطولة وعن المستوى تبعه، وعن شو راح يصير مع البطولة السنة الجاي، وشوي عن السعودية إنها راح تستضيف الدبليو فاينلز. بتمنى المقابلة تعجبكم، وشكرا. استمتعوا بالمقابلة. مرحبا، معكم جوسيه من استوريل، بودكاست التنس مع جوسيه مورغادو، أحد أهم الصحفيين بعالم التنس. دعم مقابل معه بالإنجليزي. Hi, Jose, how are you?
Hey, thank you for having me.
I want to ask you about the tournament, the quality of the tournament, and the ATP calendar for next year. They still didn't have a date for the tournament.
Yeah, it's a very good tournament, as you can see. Obviously, one of the most well organized on tour, especially for 250 level. All the players love it. The crowds are packed every week. We had like sold out sessions since we qualified, so the weather usually is good. This year a bit up and down.
But it was okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad day, but it got like compensated with the two next days. So it's a very nice tournament. I think everybody wants it to keep it, including the ATP, but the thing is that the calendar will lose a lot of ATP 250s next season, and what Israel has is not a definitive license of the tournament, but they have a leasing of the license. So they have, every year they have to renew their leasing of the ATP of that ATP week license, and the ATP wants to reduce those tournaments. And this one they want to keep it, but at the moment they don't have a week for that.
And I hear that other players like to come here, like the tournament, like the atmosphere. So I think they must find a date.
I hope so. Obviously, we had a final between two top 10 players in the 250, which is crazy. We obviously had a very good draw once again, and all the top players that came in the past. Tsitsipas, obviously Alcaraz and Kyrgios, and everybody that came here wanted to obviously come back and wanted the tournament to stay on the calendar. But it will depend on, I believe, further negotiations. I think that the tournament will survive, but we need to understand if it's possible to stay in this week instead of Bucharest, because I think Jon Tiriac that owns the Bucharest tournament doesn't want this specific week, so ATP is trying to negotiate with him. There is other possibilities, maybe week before Roland Garros, maybe in July post Wimbledon. There are many chances, but let's hope that the tournament stays.
Yeah, I hope so, because it was a great atmosphere here. And I want to ask you about Raul Sousa, who retired this tournament, and about tennis, what are those players, the future, what you have.
Yeah, obviously we had João, who was like a trailblazer for everybody. He has more ATP quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals titles than everybody in the history of Portuguese tennis combined.
Yes.
Like he got, there was a stat the other day where he has like, I believe, 66 top 50 wins, where, for example, Nuno Borges got 5 and he's 27 years old. He's obviously doing great, but João is on a completely different league compared to everything that we have in the sport. So yeah, obviously he is a trailblazer for his coming. Nuno is doing his way. Obviously he did something that João never did, reaching the second week at the Australian Open. He was top 50 already, the second ever Portuguese to make the top 50. And we had a good generation of young players. Obviously, Henrique Rocha started already winning a challenger. We had Jean Faria playing here the main draw as well from Qualis. He won the 20 consecutive ITF matches at the start of the season. They are both 20 years old. There are a couple of younger ones, a couple of older ones that can still do it, and I think that we are looking good for the future. I think that we have a good chance to maybe make the Davis Cup finals pretty soon. It's a shame that João will not make it, because he was very close many times to help our team to make the finals, but we are looking good, I think.
Yeah, I see that you have good players in the future. And last question for me, for the Arabic listeners, what do you think about Saudi Arabia take the WTA finals for 3 straight years?
Yeah, it's not surprising. I think that it's something that's being negotiated in the last couple of years. I think that it's good news that they announced it already, that they have a long-term deal. I think if there is something that is good for women's tennis and for women's sports, if for the Saudi society in general, I think it's going to be good for everybody. I hope so, at least. Obviously, we know what's happening with their investment in football, in other sports. Obviously, with golf, with F1, with the WWE.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are a lot of money. There are a lot of money to invest, and obviously I prefer the money to be invested in things that I think that are worth.
I think it's good too for the tennis, because
I
the last
so.
3 years for the WTA especially, they had a really
Exactly. I hope that they can promote locally the event, and that they get very good crowds. And if they do, perfect, because obviously there is the money, there is the conditions. I think that the players will enjoy it. But they will enjoy, especially if they have a lot of people leaving the tournament with them, and I think that it can be in a long term a very good experience, because we had that with tennis in Dubai, then in Doha. So I think that Saudi Arabia can do that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I think that Saudi Arabia can analyze it as well. Jose, thank you for
a
couple of words. I hope to see you next year in Australia.
Yeah, for sure. I hope to be here, and I hope the tournament stays on calendar.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for support. Everything you have done tonight for me. I love